I'll be taking you along for the ride with me as I try to tackle this new design project. Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to be trying to make a new resin tray with my Cricut Maker 3 and my epoxy resin in a mold. I'll be taking you along with me as I try out this fun new project. The first thing I did was start gathering my supplies and making sure that I put everything organized and in a way that I could reach them easily in the order that I needed to. So I put my safety mask on first so I don't breathe in fumes, and my gloves so that I don't get any of the resin on my skin. And then I started measuring out my part A and part B, which is what I need to use for my 1-to-1 epoxy resin by Resin Rockers. I mixed just the resin together at first. Next I mixed in my pigment, and I had to be careful not to use too much, otherwise my project wouldn't harden and I would have to start all over again. It's also important to make sure it cures properly, because if resin isn't hardened and you breathe in the fumes, it's very dangerous to your health. After that, I started pouring my resin into the mold, and I wanted to cover all of the surface area and make sure that there were no holes and as few bubbles as possible. To decrease my likelihood of having bubbles in my piece, I sprayed it with rubbing alcohol and then let it sit for a few minutes to help the bubbles dissipate. After 24 hours, I was able to demold the tray, and this is how it looked afterwards. It was fairly easy to remove. Next, I needed to cut out the letters that I wanted to put on my tray, and I decided to go with my business name, which is Romae Creations. There's something so relaxing about watching the Cricut Maker do the cutting. I was just staring at it the whole time that it was doing this, which only took a few minutes, and choosing my font was pretty easy. For me, this was the hardest part, weeding everything off of the smart vinyl and using a method that was supposed to be easier to help transfer the letters over to my tray. I ended up having to take some of the letters off individually, and that was a pain, but this is what it looked like after I finished weeding everything, very nice and clean. And I didn't realize at this point that it was completely stuck to the smart vinyl, so even though I am trying to use the transfer tape to move that over to my tray, you'll see I was really trying to get it stuck on there, the transfer tape, and some of the letters were coming off, but the rest were just sticking to the smart vinyl. And I think I should have just gone with the traditional method for removing my letters, but I ended up just putting them on individually, and the first 3 letters went onto the tray pretty easily, ROM, and the rest I had to do one by one. Just to show you how tedious it was, this was me trying to put on the S, and it would have been a lot easier if I'd been able to use my transfer tape. This is how my tray ended up looking after everything was done. There are some little imperfections, but overall I'm happy with how it turned out. Let me know if you have any tips for using a Cricut Maker, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.